we have external style sheets actually. External style sheets, uh, what is these three differences I will show you. What is inline, what is embedded and external. First we will understand difference between these three. Then we can learn how to write all the styles like backgrounds, borders and all other options, right? So technically first we need to know how these three are used. What is inline style, embedded style, external style sheet. Let's see. So I will take a new project, means our project, and in our project, I will take a new project here. And in this project, we will add some folder for styles separately. I will create a separate folder for our new topic. Let's say styles examples, styles examples. Okay, or simply I will keep as a, CSS examples. Okay, now I will add here some demo.html. Okay, let's create let's create a simple doc type HTML and head and title, some styles. Okay, in the body section, so we have a heading. Suppose HTML is heading and another heading like CSS and another heading like JavaScript. Now I want a good appearance for this. Generally with HTML, what extra we can give for heading? With HTML, what extra we can give for heading is nothing but we can give align to center we can give. Other than that, we don't have any other attributes in HTML. Then styles will make HTML more effective. Actually, we can write the styles inline. Inline styles are nothing but inline styles means the styles are defined. The styles are defined for elements. The styles are defined for elements. Generally, styles are defined for elements. By using style attribute, by using style attribute. Styles are defined for elements by using style attribute. Every element have its own individual styles. Every element have its own individual styles. It has its own individual styles, and the styles defined for one element cannot be reused, for other elements, the styles defined for one element cannot be reused for other elements. That is actually the problem with this inline styles. Every element have its own styles. We cannot reuse them. That is the problem. Actually, these styles are faster in rendering. Rendering means generating output. These styles are faster in rendering as they are local. To element. These are faster. But problem is you cannot reuse them. That is the problem with inline styles. We cannot reuse them. You can observe here. We can observe here. Suppose I want some effects for heading, HTML heading. Here I will write style. By using style attribute, you can add some effects. Effects, how to write, I will tell you later. First, basically, we are writing here, suppose background color. Background color I given as some green. and I'm adding color. Color we defined as white, and we have text align. So text align. So text align. So we defined as center. That means the effects are defined. The effects are defined in this way. Now you can observe that. So all the effects are separated with semicolon. By using style, we are writing it. Now what is the effect here is, you can see the heading have that appearance. HTML is given with more effectiveness. That heading is given with some effects. But the problem is, it is only for this heading. If I want the same for second heading or third heading, then again we have to write all this. Again we have to write all this. So that is difficult. But this is good if you are writing only for one element and you don't want to reuse. This is the best one. So this is also used in various occasions. So depending on requirement, see, nobody can ask like which one is best. There is nothing like this is best and this is not best. It is like for that situation, which one will suit. So according to the situation, according to the requirement, which one will suit, we have to decide. All are required, but for that situation, which one is better, you have to choose depending on the requirement. So there is nothing like which method is good, right? All methods we have to use according to requirement. So this is inline style. So what is problem in inline style is, it is unable to reuse those effects. Reuse those effects. That is inline style. So this is one example. If you want to apply those for any another page, for any another element, you have to write them again. That is the problem with inline style. This is example for inline style. We can define the styles embedded styles. Actually, embedded is nothing but styles are defined in page by using styles are defined in page by using style element, are defined by using style element. You can configure in head or body section. What is difference between head and body section? I will tell you. We can configure in head and body section. You can keep all your styles at one location and use across various elements. So it is good for reusing styles. It is good for reusing styles. That is the advantage of embedded styles. But the problem is they are slower than inline. Inline is little bit faster. They are slower than inline because they have to come from external location and they need to be applied for that element. How we write embedded styles? Let's see. We can write embedded styles in this way. I removed all these options now. I removed all these options. Yeah, done. Now when I removed all these, so now again the heading is normal. There is nothing special. Let's go to head section. In head section, we are writing a style tag. In that, we have to write the effects. How to write effects, I will tell you later. Means selectors, various types of selectors are present. We will discuss that in the next level we are going to learn. Initially, we want to apply for heading. Then we will write heading 2. Okay. Wherever heading 2 is there, background color I put as green and color I put as white, and text align I keep as center. Now I will save this. You can see it will apply to all headings. It will apply to all headings. So that is good. We can reuse and we can apply across several elements. But what is point here is, let's go to inspect. It is the debugger. In the debugger, let's go to network. In the network, so once refresh the page, we are refreshing the page. Now you can see that when I refresh the page, currently you can see it came with, you can see it came with the timing. This is the timing, right side you can see the timing. And in the timing, you can observe carefully here. In the timing, you can see it has taken 59 milliseconds to load. You can observe that it says that load time. You can observe the load time. It says 60 milliseconds to load. At the bottom of the screen, you can observe it. DOM content loaded in 59 seconds. And complete loading is finished in 60 milliseconds. That means additionally some effects, all whatever it apply. So it has taken 60 milliseconds to load the page. Okay, let's do one thing. We will remove style from here. We will write inline. So style, so background color green, and color white, and text align center. Same effects I am giving. I will copy them for all the three. That means because we cannot reuse them, we have to rewrite them. I am copying the same for all the three. CSS also have it, and JavaScript also have it. All the three have the same. Okay, now I will refresh this. I will refresh this, and you can see that this time you can see the load time is 41 milliseconds. Same effects applied, but this time it has taken 41 milliseconds. Previously it was 60 milliseconds, and now 41 milliseconds. But appearance is same. That means according to the situation, we have to use the styles and effects. We cannot simply apply the styles and effects. So, and we cannot say that this is best out of all. The best out of all is decided according to the state and situation. All are effective only. The problem in this inline is they are faster, but the problem is reusability issues will come. If I want to change background color, I have to change for every heading now. But if it is embedded, then it is better. That means in embedded, what we do is later you will learn how to write selectors, different types of selectors. How to write effects, what is the syntax for effects, you will learn later. First, we are understanding what are the various methods of writing the styles. So we have a style tag, and wherever heading is there, we are writing some effects. Background color, some green, and color, so some white, and text align to center. We are configuring that, and those effects will be applied here. And you can see that again, when you apply these effects and define these effects, all effects are working fine, right? So, but the point is the loading time will be more when compared to the inline. So that is, if several effects we are using, that becomes an issue actually. So it depends on the requirement. So I will copy this and I will paste that here. So I will paste that here. So this is an example for embedded styles, how we can define the embedded styles and how we can use the embedded styles. Now, when you are writing the embedded styles, we have another option. Yep. So here we have the embedded styles. Now, while writing embedded styles, so a regular question comes here. One regular important question here is, so how we can configure, right? Here, one important question is, the frequently asked question is, generally, especially while using embedded, where to write, where to embed the styles in head or in body. That is the regular question actually comes. So where to embed the styles? So this is a regular question, and this is depending on the situation actually. What is the situation? See, the answer for this is very simple. What is the situation for this actually is, so if you want to configure a set of styles which are loaded into browser memory, and used later by the elements according to the requirement, then keep in head section. That means if you have some styles, those styles we want to load into memory and keep in the memory. Later, according to situation, whenever element needs it, it can bring it and use it. Such effects we can write in head section. And another option is, another important point is, if you want to configure a set of styles which are applied directly on body load, then better define them in body section. That is depending on requirement. For example, you can put both actually. Suppose, see here. So we have heading. Now heading have these options and effects. I am writing style in the body section. Wherever you want, you can keep. In the body section, so wherever body is there, I will apply some background color as a light green. That means this, we want the body to apply automatically when the body is loaded. And these we want to apply. For example, we write by using a class as heading. And these will be used here later. Whenever required, they will use it. They will use a class called heading. What is a class? How to write classes? Now we are going to clearly learn about them. Don't worry about that, right? Because in CSS, we are going to discuss them detailing. Already we used in HTML in various occasions, but now we are going to clearly learn all those detailing. Anyhow, here the point is, I want this set of effects to apply directly. I want this set of effects to load in memory so that any element can access and use it. Not only here, through JavaScript jQuery also, we can bring those effects and use them later. Currently, you can see that they are applied immediately. But later, through JavaScript, through jQuery, we can access the class names and we can apply those classes dynamically to the element, dynamically to element. So you can write in both locations. You can write in head section, you can write in body section. You can see that both are working fine. Head and body section both are working fine. But which style to keep in head, which style to keep in body section, depending on when you want to apply them. So depending on how you want to use them. So both are okay. So better keep in head section if you want to load all the effects and keep them and use later. So keep in body section if you want to apply directly. If you want to apply directly on the body load you want to apply directly, then you can go with this mechanism, right? So this is a general approach. So where to keep, so whether in head or body section. So this is a regularly asked one example, means a question. Yeah. Another important question in interviews and generally while learning styles, we have to know that. Another frequently asked question is, so what is MIME type? MIME type for styles. What is the MIME type for styles? This is very important. That means we need to understand what is the MIME type for styles. The MIME type for styles. We need to know that. Actually, MIME type we already discussed when we learnt about images. I told you about different MIME types of images. What is MIME type? Why we need a MIME type? In HTML images, I told you. So browser cannot understand a specific type of content until or unless you tell it. MIME type is to tell the browser what type of content you are keeping in that area. So when you write styles, actually when you write a separate style tag and you start writing something like code like this, then some browsers cannot understand what you are trying to tell. That is the reason you have to tell the browser that this part belongs to a styles. We are writing what is the type of coding you are giving here. It is related to style. So then how you tell the MIME type of style? I already told you that every file type is recognized through MIME types. Browser can understand this type of content by using MIME type. That means, so actually MIME type defines, MIME means multi-purpose internet mail extension. Already I given you in HTML, so no need to again and again explain it. So MIME type defines the type of content present in element. Type of content present in element. The MIME type is used by browser to understand the type of content, and styles MIME type is text/CSS. Styles MIME type is text/CSS. So whenever you are writing the styles embedded, so whenever you are using style sheets, then the MIME type is text/CSS. That means syntactically, how do we write is, syntactically we have to write in this way. So we have to write style and the type is equal to text/CSS. Without that also it will work, but some browsers may not understand the styles when you write normally. That is the reason we should not take a chance. So we need to apply the styles. We need to configure the styles. We need to apply and configure the styles with MIME type so that all browsers can easily understand. So whenever you write embedded, so or when you write external style sheets and link them, we have to use type as text/CSS. text/css. There are several other options also which you will learn in the next level. We will discuss about that. So one is type. One is the attribute is type. One attribute is type. By using the type attribute, we usually tell what type of content it is. What type of content it is. Actually, so another important is we also have a option media. So we have different media types. So what are those media types? We will discuss in the next level. We will discuss and we will see that. Initially, first MIME type. What is the MIME type? How to deal with the MIME types? Okay. So that is MIME types. How we can configure in the MIME types and define the MIME types. So a simple example for this. A simple example is this. So I will copy this and keep it. So wherever you write better, I will keep in the two locations same. So type is equal to text/CSS. So this is the MIME type configured for that. And we are using that MIME type here. So when you are writing the styles, these are two important options. What is the MIME type? And what is the location of the styles? Is it head section? Is it body section? And how do we write the MIME types for the styles? This is mostly while working with the embedded style. So two techniques you have seen, inline technique, embedded technique. But embedded is also having a problem. Embedded problem is nothing but you defined some set of styles and these styles will work only for this page. They will work only for this page. They will not work for other pages. Suppose in my website I have 10 pages. In all pages, headings must be same. In all pages, paragraphs must be same. In all pages, appearance must be similar. Only few effects will be changing. Uniform, we need a uniform appearance. In that case, in every page, we have to embed the styles like this. Instead of embedding the styles in every page, now what we can do is, we can use another technique. So we can bring the styles from external file. Styles from external file. We can bring the styles from external file. We can access and use from external files. Configure from external files. So that means the styles are maintained in a separate style sheet, that have the extension .css. Styles are maintained in a separate style sheet that have the extension CSS. So you can link the style sheet to any HTML page. You can link to any HTML page. Styles are accessible across several pages. So they are reusable and accessible across several pages. But one problem is there. The problem is nothing but if you use external style sheet, then so the problem with external style sheet is then the page, the number of requests for page will increase, and also the page load time. The number of requests will increase and also the page load time. If you use external style sheet, then the number of requests for page will increase and also the page load time. That is the reason unnecessarily we cannot use an external style sheet, because obviously external style sheet will increase the number of requests for page. That means what actually happens is nothing but, so generally, suppose we have some styles styles.css. In that we return some styles, and we have index.html. Now from the client side, now a request is made. That means request will go to the index. Now this is request 1. It is request 1. But index is actually using this CSS. Then one more request has to go to for that CSS. One more request have to go to that CSS. So that means request 2. So this is request 2. That means to access this file, means to access this, we need to request now. As a web developer, you should know that if number of requests for any page, are increasing, then page load time also will increase. If number of requests for page increases, page load time also increases. So as much as possible as a web developer, we must design the pages in such a way that number of requests will be reduced. Later, we will see a concept called bundling and minification like things we will discuss. With that, we can make this possible. We can reduce the number of requests, we can improve the page load time. But actually, there is no other chance. If you want to use the styles across pages, there is no other chance. You have to follow this method only. So that is the reason. Actually, the mechanism of using an external style sheet and using for HTML, we call this mechanism as cascade style sheet. What is meant by cascading? Actually, cascade is nothing but a type of arrangement. I will show you. Cascading is a type of arrangement. I will show you what is that cascading. I will show you. See, let's open some notepad. Okay, let's open some MS Paint. Okay, this is MS Paint and we have notepad. Okay, let's open some calculator. Some programs are opened in my computer. Okay, after opening these programs, see what I am doing now. I will right click on the taskbar. And you see there is an option called Cascade Windows. I hope many of you seen this Cascade Windows. Now let's see what happens if I say Cascade. See what happens if I select Cascade Windows. All windows will be arranged in this way. This is called cascading. So this is a general English word. Cascading is a general English term. So cascading is a type of arrangement. You are arranging in a cascade style. Now, what is the speciality of this type of arrangement? The speciality of this type of arrangement is nothing but from the foreground, you can see what is present in the background. That means from the foreground, you can see what is present in the background. Currently in the foreground, we have a calculator, but you know that in the background, there is a MS Paint, there is a notepad, there is another MS Paint, there is MS Word, there is Visual Studio Code, there is a browser. We can see the contents in the background. So from the foreground, this kind of arrangement is called cascading. We call this mechanism as cascading. Now, what does that means for our CSS actual? That is why we call CSS. Cascade style sheet is nothing but, generally what happens is, we have styles in a separate style sheet. Styles are in a separate style sheets. Now we have several pages, like we have home.html, and we have like about.html. Now these are the pages. Now in these pages, I want to use those effects. Then what we can do is, we can make this style sheet cascade like appearance here. Cascading. Actually what we do is, we will keep this cascading We will keep this cascading like this. That means what happens, what does that means? It means that the styles are in the background, but they are available to the foreground. The styles are in the background, but they are available to the foreground. Your home is able to use those styles. They are in the background, but they can be viewed from the foreground. They can be used from the foreground. This kind of arrangement is called cascading actually. We call this mechanism as cascading. Now this style sheet can cascade for any page. It can cascade for home, it can cascade for about. That means it will be in the background, but it will be showing the effects in the foreground. It will be utilized by that. Cascading has a lot of other points also, which you will understand later. Cascading rules, cascading inheritances, we have a lot of other things we will come across. We will discuss about them. But why it is called cascade style sheet? That means it is arranging the styles in the background in such a way that they are available and visible from the foreground. That is what actually the concept of cascading. So that means you can maintain the style sheets. So in a separate styles in a separate sheet. How? What we have to do is we have to create a new style sheet. Suppose in our project, we are maintaining a separate folder called styles. We are maintaining a separate folder styles. In the styles folder, we are adding a file called fx.css. Style sheets will have the extension .css. Okay. Now this CSS, we are writing the fx. So wherever heading is there, so background color, so that is green. Okay, and color, so as white, and text align to center. We can add several things. So separate style sheet is maintained. Now I want these styles to be used for our demo page. Then what we have to do is we have to link that style sheet to our page by using the link tag. Link in head section, link relation is equal to, remember link relation, already we used shortcut icon for favorite icons. Now link relation is equal to style sheet, and the link href is equal to, it is in /styles/fx.css. It is present in fx. Why ... Because ... means it will come out of the current folder. It will come out of the current folder because our HTML file is in this folder. The current folder and go to styles folder. Then to come out of the current folder, we have to use ... Then go to styles fx.css. Now it is linked and we will apply this and you can see styles are working. But the problem is when you inspect and go to network and you can see, you refresh this request again, you can see that two requests came here. One request is HTML, another request is for fx, another is for live server. Currently we are using live server, that is why. So it says that total requests are 3. One for live server, one for style sheet, one for HTML. If there are 10-20 style sheets, then requests will be 10-20. And observe the load time. This time it taken 71 milliseconds. Same fx. You saw that when we used embedded, it used 60 milliseconds. Same fx. And when you used inline, it used 40 milliseconds. So inline 40 milliseconds. Embedded 60 milliseconds, external style sheet 71 milliseconds, but effects are same. So external style sheet means it will increase the number of requests of page. If number of requests for page are increasing, then obviously every time page load time will increase. Page load time will obviously increase. That is a problem for page. That is the problem for the page. That is the problem for dealing with the page. So we should be very careful in handling this. That is the reason unnecessarily we cannot use an external style sheet. So it depends on the requirement and the situation. And what is advantage is you can link everywhere now. In every file you can link it. And if I make changes in this style sheet, background color as some blue, so we change that in the style sheet, it will be affected to all pages, affected to all pages. So if you want to use across, then we can use an external style sheet. But the problem is there. The problem is nothing but when you are using an external style sheet. So when you are using an external style sheet, now the number of requests will increase actually. The number of requests will increase and it will increase the page load time. So example how to do that. So first point is for this example. So add a new folder, styles. Add a new style sheet into folder. So that is effects.css. Then add effects into style sheet. So that means we are adding some effects into style sheet. We are writing like this. Yeah, when we are defining some effects into the style sheet. Okay, then link the style sheet to your web page. While linking, it is again important to define link type is equal to text/css. Text/css relation equal to style sheet, and href is equal to this. That's how we link an external style sheet. So, and we are using that external style sheet here. That is one important. But the problem always with external style sheet is it will increase the number of requests per page, and it will increase the page load time. And all. These are the basic things will happen, right? The basic things will happen. Now, while working with external style sheet, when you are working with external style sheet, we have another important point to okay. So now here the point is one more important option is there while working with the style sheet. Actually, people use one important regular question comes is what is CDN? This will come regularly while learning CSS and JavaScript and all. What is CDN? Actually, CDN is nothing but CDN is content distribution network. So content distribution network. What is that? CDN is nothing but actually we can maintain all style sheets. Currently we are talking about styles, so style sheets. CDN is for JavaScript also. We can maintain all style sheets in a repository server. Repository server usually we call sandbox server. In a repository server, we can maintain all style sheets in a repository server. So we can directly connect and access the style sheets from repository server instead of downloading into project. Without downloading into project, we can access from the repository server. Actually, if you want to use style sheets, you have to download and you have to use it. You can directly use CDN, but CDN have problem. Problem is nothing but, so I will show you. For example, later we can add these also. I will show you here. Suppose in our computer, this is we are using. I will show you one example. Suppose I am using like Bootstrap, get bootstrap.com. That is the official website of bootstrap.com. Getbootstrap.com. Okay, this is official Bootstrap. And I want to use Bootstrap in my project. Bootstrap will provide some ready-made CSS. Then when I go to download Bootstrap, then they will give you one solution. Like instead of downloading, they will say that you can use our CDN. They will say that you can use our CDN instead of downloading. You see, they will give you that you can use our CDN. So content distribution network, you can see that. For example, you can see they will give you, this is the CDN actually, CDN. And what is CDN? CDN is nothing but you can access that library from their website directly. They will give the server address. Now you can access directly from that library. You can access from that library. Now what is advantage? What is drawback? Advantage is if you are not downloading and you are directly accessing from their server, obviously it will save the space on your project. Your project space will be maintained better. Your project will be maintained, space will be better. Why? Because you are not downloading into your project, but you are using in project. Then from where the file is coming? From external server. So from external server, the files are coming, you are linking them and you are using them for your project. That is good. But what is problem is if that server is not responding, and usually that server may take a little bit more time in responding, then it will take some time in getting those effects and applying to your page. Time always will be a matter for developer. These days we are in the cloud generation, that is the reason. So CDN will not become a big issue for us because in cloud generation, everything is 24 hours available, right? That means everything is available, everything is in time. That is the reason now we can use this CDN very well, but it has its own issues. The main problem with CDN is from another server, the styles should come. And if that server is not responding for a while, obviously the styles will not come. So this risk will be there when we are using CDN. But in the current generation, like cloud-like technologies, we are maintaining entire software development in the cloud. In that case, this will not become a big issue in future, right? So, but it has its own issues. It has its own drawbacks. So what is meant by CDN? Instead of downloading into your project and using it from your project, you can directly access from another server and use. That means across projects, you can use those effects. That means several projects can use those effects. So that is what actually CDN. Here also we can try. For example, if you remembered, in the beginning I showed you how to create a website. See, in my computer, I have IIS. I have IIS, Internet Information Services Manager. Okay, on IIS, we created a virtual directory. How to create a website on IIS, all these we learned. You see, there is a virtual directory called CDN. I will explore that virtual directory. In that CDN, there is styles. In styles, there is effects.css. There is a style sheet in another location. I want to use those styles for my project. Then what I can do is, here href, it is not present in your local folder. It is coming from http://localhost/ or its IP address like 127.0.0.1/ in that we have CDN, in that /styles, in that so we have effects.css. We are getting styles from that location. I will save this. And I will refresh here. The styles from that location are coming and are working. And you can see that the colors and effects changed because actually in that effects.css, open that in Notepad. In that effects.css, I will open with the Notepad. And you can see that the background color is some dark cyan and all. Suppose I changed this on that server, I changed this to red. I will save it. Then I will save this and close. And you can refresh here. That effect will be defined here. That means some changes made here. Yeah. Now when I run this, that means now whatever the changes made on server, that will be affected here. So some blocking here happened. I have to save the changes there. Let's open that location. In C drive, we have SDN. Yeah, in the CDN, we have styles. In that, we have effects. Yeah, background color is changed. Effects, we are changing there. It's coming from across location. Sometimes what happens is our browsers will block. That is what generally we call as cross origin, right? Cross origin resource sharing. No problem, I will show you here. And you can see those effects are working here. But remember, these effects are coming. So these effects are coming. When you inspect, you can see that in the head section. In the head section, you can observe these effects are coming. These effects are coming from a separate server location. That means some separate website. These effects are coming from another website, from another location. We can use across. But the problem is obviously this will increase the page load time every time. Why it will increase the page load time? Because it has to come from another server and use, right? But in major projects these days, so people follow this, and very important is you need to connect to the server every time. And in major projects, generally in development environment, in real-time environment, so our resources are shared across servers. So that is the reason you will find this CDN used regularly. They will give you a CDN URL. That URL you have to keep for your styles, scripts, and others, and you have to use them. But when you are practicing, so you can keep everything in a local repository, and you can add and use from the local locations, right? It's your wish, it depends on requirement. So technically, what is CDN? That means we are accessing from any another repository location. So this is actually the example for that. So I will paste that. That means here you can see that link source is coming from some other server. It is coming from some other server, some other location. The effects are coming and used. These are generally the concept. This is what we call as CDN. So we can use styles inline. We can use the styles embedded. You can use the styles from external style sheets. External style sheets can be from local. External style sheets can be from CDN. CDN is nothing but a content distribution network. It can come from any another location. It can come from any another location. So that is what CDN is. So while working with the styles. Now one more important point while we're using the styles, CSS especially, is you need to know about a concept called minification. Minification of styles. Minification of CSS actually. Minification is nothing but, so minification is the process of compressing CSS. Compressing CSS. So it is always recommended to minify and use the CSS for production. Production means live. That means if you are publishing your website, you are going live, then it is always recommended to minify and use the files. Don't use the original files, because CSS original files will occupy more space. So we have to use them. Use them for development. but not for production. For development we need them. Why? Because in development, if you use a compressed file, if there is any problem occurred, it can tell that there is a problem, but it cannot show you where the problem occurred, because all your code is compressed. Location is not identified properly because everything is compressed. So always it is recommended to use this. Minification can be done in several ways. Actually, I will show you how we can do the minification. Suppose you see here, currently in our project, we have effects.css file. And you see this effects.css file is in styles folder. And you observe here effects.css file. It is 5 lines occupying. Okay, not only 5 lines, I will open in File Explorer. And you can see that it is occupying, I will see the size. You will see that it is occupying 78 bytes. After all 5 lines, it is occupying 78 bytes. Then 100 lines, 1000 lines will be more than 1 MB. And every MB you have to buy on web. If you want extra MB space, you have to buy. So we cannot waste space. We have to use compressed. Then what we can do is, actually, there are several softwares for compressing. I will show you other tools later. Initially, what you can do is you can go online. So you can go online. You can try CSS Minifier, cssminifier.com. We have a website, cssminifier.com. Online, several websites will be there. You can just Google CSS Minifier. Okay, this is CSS Minifier, cssminifier.com. Open this CSS Minifier. Several downloadable tools also present. I will show you in later stages how to handle them. This is CSS Minifier website. Now what we have to do is we have to copy the original CSS code. Okay, in this CSS Minifier, you have to paste your minified original code here and click on Minify button. One second. Sorry, for a while, little bit network issue. Is it audible to everyone? Everyone fine? Everyone, right? Fine. Yes, yes. Okay, fine, fine. Let's see what is this minification, right? Now we minified this code. This is the minified code. You see, they given an option download. You can download this file, and they will give you a min extension for that file. That means we can download the file. They will give a min extension for the file. For that, you need to log in. You have to do a lot of work. Instead of that, I will show you. After minifying, you can copy that minified code and go to your project and create a new file. Here, I'll create a new file, that is fx.min.css. Actually, extension is .css only. But if you just define min, so just define min, that is to tell that it is a minified file, and enter. And in that we will paste that, and you can see that everything is shrunk to one line now. Everything is shrunk to one line. And some changes happened in the code. It has used the color codes instead of using, because lengthy code is shortened now. And this original 5 lines code is now wrapped to one line. Not only that, you can observe the space here. The minified file is expected with the size. You can see 54 bytes. Actually, it is 70 bytes or 54 bytes. It's reduced in size. Now it is recommended to use these minified files in the project. That means here we are using the minified file here. So fx.min.css. Min.css. You can see that. So when I run this now, the minified file is also, this is not from that project, it is from local. So that means it is in styles min.css. So dot slash styles.min.css, and it is applying the effects and defining. And you can see that the effects are coming from a minified file. So this will improve the size. That means it will improve the page load time. It will change the size and all. This is better when you are dealing with minifications. There are several ways of minification. Several softwares are there. I will show you some tools. By running commands also you can minify the files. Later we will see how to install them and how to work with them. But this is minification. And you will see that in real world projects, many times you will find that minification. Suppose you say Bootstrap. You saw, when I go to Bootstrap and I want to download the Bootstrap, and you see they say that, so these are compiled files, and you can see that they will give you minified files. So you observe here, they will give you minified files. You can see Bootstrap min.css. So the minified files are reduced in size. But remember, for development, we cannot use minified files, because minified files, the problem is minified files size is reduced. It is shrinked. If any problem is occurred, it will show that there is a problem, but it cannot track the line number where the problem occurred. That is the risk in development. That's the reason in development, always use the original file. Finally, in production, you have to use the minified files. Production means when you are going live, we have to use the minified files, right? That is minification. You will see this in JavaScript and other location also, how to minify with several effects. We will learn about them. That is what actually the concept of styles. So in 3 ways we can define the styles: inline, embed, external files. We can use CDN, and we can we can also use minified files. Now, in how many ways we can write the styles? What is the basic syntax for writing the style and defining the style? That we will see in our next session tomorrow. In tomorrow's session, we will discuss about the concept of selectors in CSS. what are the various CSS selectors, what are the rules for selectors, how to apply effects by using these selectors. We will discuss about them. That we'll see in our next session. Tomorrow we will continue with this. Okay. Right.